If you do not like someone's story, write your own. Changing Narratives with Wambui Kabage.
Hi everyone, this is Wambui Kabage, Changing Narratives. I am back discussing marriage don'ts. So in the last episode, we talked about the number of things that you should know about regarding what you should do when it comes to being married, and specifically what the law says, making a marriage valid. Right? Now we're going to discuss, if you haven't watched that, please go back and watch it. But now we're going to be discussing the marriage don'ts. So in the marriage don'ts, please do not marry anyone under the age of 18. That is completely illegal in our country. You are not permitted to do that. Okay? Do not also involve yourself in a prohibited relationship. So what is a prohibited relationship? Yes, so I'm not going to do all the homework for you guys. You have to go back to the Marriage Act, and generally there is a section that says prohibited relationships. I'll give you an example. You cannot marry your brother. Okay, for example. You cannot marry your stepfather, interestingly enough. So that is an example of a prohibited relationship, but there are many prohibited relationships provided in the Act, and I recommend that you look at them. The only exception I believe worth mentioning is in the Islamic context, you are permitted to marry your cousin, but that is only in the Islamic context. You cannot, outside of that context, marry your cousin. Now, you cannot already be married. Okay, that is with the exception of those who are in a polygamous marriage. And that is specifically to our male brothers or male Kenyan brothers. They are permitted to be married already if they were already in a polygamous relationship. Okay, but as for women, no. You cannot marry somebody if you're already married. You must... Previously, we mentioned you must be present for your ceremony. The counter for that is you cannot be absent in your ceremony. So, I think that's self-explanatory, guys. I think you'll understand that, okay? You must select an official, authorized officiant. What does that mean? If you marry under whichever category of marriage that you are marrying under, that person must be recognized as a person able to take you through a marriage ceremony. That is not guesswork. That is an official document that this person must possess to confirm that they have been given the official powers to do that, right? In different contexts, you get different documentation. So in the Christian context, you would be speaking to the heads of the Christian denomination that person or you are planning on getting married under. If it is the Islamic context, then you're talking about either a qadi or a person who has been given official or registrable rights to register a marriage under that regime. If it is the Hindu marriage, the same. Under the civil marriage, it's generally a magistrate or a judge. And so really at the end of the day, there's no guesswork in Kenya. Somebody asked me, can I do some exams, write some exams and do that, and kind of like in the US or whatever. No, I'm sorry guys. It's not about exams. It is literally about the different categories of marriage that you're in. In those categories are the heads of those categories able to give that kind of official permission. And even then, you still go through government processes. So it's not guesswork. It is something that is actually in a registry. You can determine who these people are and whether they can actually officiate your marriage. Another thing which is really, really important is you must marry a person with their true identity, no false identities. Okay, and so it doesn't matter if I marry somebody and they say, I am, Wambui Njoroge, right? But they marry me, right? Me, myself. It doesn't matter because my name is Wambui Kabage. So you must marry me as Wambui Kabage. You cannot marry me as Wambui Njoroge because that's not who I am. Okay, that's a false identity. Also, you must have true intentions. Meaning no false intentions. I cannot marry you, for example, to get Kenyan citizenship, right? As in that is my core intention. That is not a valid marriage. I have to marry you because I want to marry you, not because there's some other agenda attached to this. And if that's the case, and the person comes to discover that that is the situation, they can completely null and void that relationship. Okay, it's not a marriage that is void. That is valid. So those are the categories, or those are the don'ts as it relates to marriages under the Marriage Act of 2014. So I hope those do's and those don'ts that we've been able to go through in these last 2 episodes help you understand that you need to start right. You need to have the right basis before you get married, and that will avert questions of whether your marriage is valid or invalid. But one last thing, ladies and gentlemen, you must remember, in all categories of marriages, you must register those marriages once that is done. However, not to worry, we will go through that conversation when we discuss issues of the different categories of marriages that you can all get involved with. So guys, if you like this, share and subscribe. And looking forward to seeing you in the next episodes.